Show Season 3, Episode 18 starts right now. Welcome to the weekly MCU show. I'm your host, Brandon Davis, joined today by Jenna Anderson.
Hey, everybody.
Joined today by Jamie Jirac.
Hi, it's good to be with the Core 4 again.
That's right. Joined today by Aaron Perrine.
What's up, y'all? Layla, you got to see the movie. You're so lucky.
Layla saw Guardians of the Galaxy?
Just now. She just got out of the theater.
Oh, the Londonites, they got the time zone advantage going for them. Welcome to Phase Zero. We are going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy spoiler-free reactions because a few of us have seen the show. We are going to talk about the fact that our show is brought to you by Enterprise. Our friends are helping you rent a car whenever you need one. We appreciate you, Enterprise, for taking interest in Phase Zero and supporting the program. I just want to say, today was one of those days where I was just like, man, I don't feel like getting out of bed today. I don't feel like going to work. I don't feel like doing any of this. And I got out of bed because I came and do this show. A, because I have to, obviously. But B, because honestly, I've been around the world a lot in the past month. I have been to Budapest. I have been to LA, to Vegas, to Virginia, to Amsterdam, to London. I have been all over the world. And I've met so many people, whether I'm in a bar and it's George Kittle, or I'm in a comic convention and somebody comes up to me and they say they love Phase Zero. Like, I could have a morning where I don't feel like getting out of bed, and the responsibility I feel to like come here and connect with everybody is such a real thing to me. And I just want to start the show by saying thank you to every single person who listens to this show. And those of you who can come up to me if I'm in a theme park or at a cinema convention or anything, and I know this has happened with Aaron and Jenna and Jamie as well, it means so damn much, and I can never put that in words. The fact that you guys spend your week with us and we get to hopefully make you guys smile a little bit and have a good time talking about something we're all super interested in. And that wasn't part of the rundown on today's show. I was just feeling that this morning, and I just wanted to put it out there. I really love our community, and I want to thank you guys for being our community and being so welcoming and supportive and fun. But yeah, so today we are going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We have some spoiler-free reactions. We have a good little trivia bit that's going to preview a video coming to the YouTube channel later this week. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, not sure yet. Got some Fantastic Four casting rumors. Jamie's got a cool Guardians of the Galaxy shirt on, very relevant. And then we have some MCU updates to round out the show. So we're gonna dive into all that. But I've already posted a video talking about my thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Spoiler alert, I really, really loved the film. And the more I've thought about it, I've liked it more. But Aaron and Jamie, you've both seen it. Jenna is seeing it on Friday morning before our bonus episode, which is going to have Cam Hayward joining us. It's going to be a 5-person program. We got Pittsburgh Steelers Zone joining us to talk about reviews. The spoiler episode is on Friday. This episode is completely spoiler-free. There is no need to leave the program right now. We're not going to ruin anything for you. And if we see somebody ruin something in the comments, we will kick them. So, Aaron, you're at the top of the screen. My rant is over. I'm going to let y'all talk. What did you think about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in the most spoiler-free way you can? Because you didn't have this movie super highly ranked on your anticipation charts. So I'm curious, did it exceed expectations? Did it make you think might end up a little higher on the year-end list? Or is it going to stay where it was, you think?
Probably going to be higher because we've had so many things move just in general. But I was interested. It was fun. It played well with me, better than I did. I sat next to Jamie in our screening, and I laughed. There were parts of it that were very, very, very sad, unexpectedly sad. I think that's probably what I took out of it more than anything else. I was like, whew, this one's way, for reasons that maybe you might not expect, a little bit darker than maybe people were thinking, but still like a hoot, an absolute hoot. There was multiple times. There's one thing that we cannot talk about that's not even that spoilerific, that me and Jamie, everyone probably could identify our voice in the theater when it happened. We just let out a shriek of laughter. So James Gunn still got it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yes, and exactly. Now all the comments are mad that we're talking about the movie and not sharing with the class. There's something.
Are you talking about something to do with somebody's leg?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I like the journeys for all of them. I think that for me, because everybody's gonna have a different standout character from this, I really, really love Nebula and Mantis in this a lot. I really enjoy those two's journeys the most. So yeah, I'll let Jenna talk.
Or Jamie, go ahead. I haven't seen it, so I'm just listening.
Oh,
so yeah.
what? Oh my god!
For Jenna. That Chicago life. I thought it was great. It was fun seeing it with Aaron. It was interesting because I will say for like the first two parts of the movie, I was thinking to myself, this is good, but I think it's my least favorite of the three. And then the third act went so hard. The third act was one of my favorite third acts we have seen in the MCU in so long that I like it more than the second one. It doesn't beat the first one for me, but I think it edges out the second one for sure. The third, I can't say enough good things about that third act. There were certain things about the movie that I didn't love in terms of like device. Just storytelling devices weren't my personal favorite. But everyone in this cast gave 110%. Like everyone delivered. That was really cool to see. I went into this with Nebula as my favorite Guardian, and that didn't change. Like it's not like I was like I hate her now. So that that was great. I was disappointed that there wasn't as much of one character as I think we thought there was going to be.
Richard Rider.
So yeah, I'm excited to talk full spoilers on Friday.
Can I mention one more thing? I love Will Poulter so much. He's really fun.
Very funny.
We'll get into that on Friday though.
I went into this movie, I would say Star-Lord was my favorite in the Guardians, and I think I left it with Rocket as my favorite member of the Guardians. And I think like it's obviously the emotions when you go into a film like this, you're expecting to feel sad emotions, like be overwhelmed with kind of maybe it's grief or sadness or whatever it is. That's not an emotion you typically want to feel, but we go into this hoping to feel it anyway. We just want to feel something. And this does provide a lot of that, but also it provides such fulfilling emotions too, like fill your heart up to the brim at times. For me at least. And I'm real curious to see what people think of it. I don't know if I could put it ahead of Guardians 1. I'm really excited. I'm going to take my mom to see it again tomorrow night. And I'm curious, if it's going to climb to the number one spot. But I'll tell you this right now. Guardians of the Galaxy. Best trilogy in the MCU. And I don't think it's up for debate. And Captain America, you're great, man. Iron Man, I love you, bro. But Guardians is the best trilogy in the MCU. I said it. All right. So we're going to do a little trivia right now. Comment section, I want you to play along. This is teeing up a video. It's going to be a much longer trivia video that you're going to find on the Phase Zero channel on YouTube. I hope you'll all watch it and have a good time with it. I asked the Guardians of the Galaxy cast and James Gunn, the director, a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy trivia questions. So to preview our video that's coming to the YouTube channel, I decided let's pull 6 of them. Let's pull 6 of those questions and put Jamie, Jenna, and Aaron to the test and see if they're smarter than the Guardians cast. See if they got more of a Guardians encyclopedic knowledge than the Guardians themselves. So we're going to tee these up. We're going to play the question that I asked to the cast and James Gunn at the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 junket. We're going to give it a pause. Then we're going to see if you guys know the answer. And then we're going to see if they knew the answer. And the winner gets a crisp high five. So, Richard, Jamie, you're up first.
Oh God. Okay.
You're the top of the screen. Listen, I don't make the rules except
It's so early. Okay, I'm ready. I'm sorry if I embarrass myself.
It's okay. The first Guardian to ask these questions at a junket, so nothing's more embarrassing. All right, Richard, play the question. It's a Galaxy movie. Gamora tells Star-Lord that his ship is filthy, and he says if you took a blacklight to this place, it would look like a.
Oh, I know this one. Is it a Jackson Pollock painting?
Let's find out. Richard, play
it. I know. Oh, Jackson Pollock.
That's right. There it is.
Yes!
Will and Jamie, BFFs on the knowledge train. Nicely done. Jamie's in the lead. She was the only one to answer one, but Jamie's in the lead. All right. Question number 2, Richard. Let's get I actually don't even know which questions have been pulled for this yet. I had a list of like 45 trivia questions written down and just in the moment started pulling them. So we'll get question number 2 here. Richard, whenever you're ready, press play on the question. Guardians of the Galaxy go with Thor in Avengers Infinity War to a place called Nidavellir to make his new axe. Hold on, not
Gamora?
Oh wait, which Guardians of the Galaxy went with him? That was the question. I think it clipped out the beginning. Which Guardians of the
Which
Galaxy?
two Guardians of the Galaxy go with Thor in Avengers Infinity War to a place called Nidavellir to make his new axe?
All right, Jenna, this is you.
Rocket and Groot.
I feel like that was an easy one, but we'll give it to you. Actually, hold on. Let's see.
Gamora? That's incorrect.
One of them is part of the
No,
axe.
Groot.
Say again?
Groot.
One of them kind of is the axe, if that helps.
Oh, sorry, Groot.
Groot
yes.
It's
and
the handle.
Groot
Rocket.
and Rocket.
All right, Jenna's better than Will Poulter so far.
They're so cute. This is fun.
I know. This is adorable.
All right, Aaron's turn. We got to do a whole other round of this. Are you guys having fun? I hope so. 'Cause we got 4 more. All right. Oh, James Gunn and Chris Pratt are in this one. All right, let's play the question.
I'm starting with some easy ones. What is the name of Peter Quill's mother?
Oh, Aaron just blank faced.
Yeah. Oh God. Jesus.
Peter Quill's mother. Do you think Peter Quill will know this one?
Oh no. You serious? Okay, now I don't feel bad.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure he
It's
knows this
Meredith?
one.
I don't. Huh?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It rhymes with Meredith.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Meredith, right?
Oh, there he is. All right, let's play the tape.
Meredith Quill.
Exhilarating stuff. All right, we got one more round. All right, let's see. Oh, it's Mantis and Nebula. All right, let's see what I have no idea what this question is. Let's play it.
In Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Rocket asks Peter what percentage of a plan he has when he says he has part of a plan. Do you remember what percent of a plan he had?
12%.
Final answer.
Yes.
All right, let's see.
0%.
I have I feel like it's. Can I guess?
This week.
Yeah, I don't know.
This could be the
Yeah.
tiebreaker.
10.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh,
It's 12.
12.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh,
Jamie
take
with
that.
Jamie with a perfect score. The first perfect score of the day. All right.
Palm's faces are
I know.
money in this.
I know. Just like new reaction meme. Oh my gosh.
All right, Jenna, good trying to tie the perfect score here.
Oh boy.
We got one more question for Jenna. I have no idea who it will be or what it is. Who do we got? Oh, it's Pratt and James.
Oh boy.
All right, let's hear the question.
In a message to the Nova Corps, Peter Quill tells them of Ronan coming in, and he says he believes he's an a-hole, but not.
Total dick.
Well, it just answered the question. So
Well, no, he didn't. He actually, that's not the answer. I'll tell you, that's not the answer.
that was going to be my answer, though. So,
Oh, so close.
or isn't it 100% a dick?
Oh, let's find out.
So
Not a
close.
complete dick.
You're so close.
He believe he not an abs.
I mean, I can't.
I thought it was total dick. You lost it, bro.
You're so close. So close, but not
What was
close enough. 100% a dick.
Oh, not
There we go.
100%.
In a message.
Okay.
I think I'd give it to her,
Yeah, Jenna gets it. And then he
but I still get to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Aaron. Final question. Trying to get on the board here. Who do we
Okay.
have? Who's
Alien
our,
man. Alien man.
Go ahead.
There's a purple alien man with a long beard who takes over the Ravagers in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and he has a crazy name. What is-
Taserface?
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
Well-
Palm. Appreciate you, girl.
There we go. She was too quick with it for even our own good. Aaron gets the point. Everybody
Okay.
wins. Everybody scores. Hey, crisp high fives all around. All right. Hey, crisp high fives for everybody.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're going to take a quick
Yay.
1-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some fantastic forecasting rumors. Thanks for our support from Enterprise, and please subscribe to the Phase Zero channel on YouTube while we're on the break if you want to see the entirety of that video. There was some pretty good laughs with the cast, so I hope you'll watch it and enjoy, and we'll see you in just a moment. back. Welcome back to Phase Zero, Season 3, Episode 18. It's time for everybody's favorite talking point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe fandom, the Fantastic Four casting rumors. There were some hot ones this week, though, so they were big enough and they caught enough traction that we had to acknowledge them on the show. I apologize in advance, but the next few minutes are all about Fantastic Four casting rumors. The hot one right now, Margot Robbie apparently offered the role of Sue Storm. If this is true, it doesn't mean she is Sue Storm. It just means they offer her the role. Comes from Daniel RPK. It's corroborated by that My Time to Shine account on Twitter. Here's the thing. These two have been right before. These two have been wrong at times, but they've been right a lot of times. So I'm kind of, I don't know if I believe this. I want y'all to take the conversation away from me after this, but what I think of is the Spider-Man casting with this, because Spider-Man casting was so fun and then it was exhausting and it was this, it was that, it was Asa Butterfield. We were so sure it was Asa Butterfield. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was Tom Holland. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Like, maybe this did happen. Maybe it's real. And maybe Margot Robbie really is the front runner, the person they offered, and maybe she takes it. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe it's just not. I don't know, dude. I personally think Margot Robbie would make a really good Sue Storm. I'm a big fan of Margot. I think she's great in a lot of films, not just Harley Quinn. I think she's super talented, whether it's anything from that Focus movie with Will Smith that nobody watched except for me, or Wolf of Wall Street, or anything else. I think she's a great actress, and she's done a lot more than the movies I just named. So I think she'd be a good Sue Storm, and I kind of hope this is true. I think that'd be awesome. I think it's a great way to get people excited, bring back some more. I guess not that Marvel's not mainstream, but like I think the fatigue could be broken a bit by big castings like this, along with the Adam Driver rumor which came out. I think the two of them would make for a really interesting pair in a Fantastic Four movie that could really get people's attention in good ways. But are these things true? Who knows, man? Maybe we'll find out at San Diego Comic-Con. But for now, just a rumor. Who wants to weigh in?
I can tell Jamie and I are just like chomping at the bit to try to weigh in on this. So Jamie, go first.
Well, you're on the screen.
Oh, okay. I have so many thoughts about this. I am so exhausted just by Fantastic Four rumors. Every single day on Twitter, it is just a new rumor, a new speculation. I want to be free from this pain, but I know the second that they are cast, they will then pivot to Superman Legacy's cast and the X-Men cast, and like we'll never be out of this. It will just change which movie. But with Margot, I don't doubt the possibility that they may have offered this to her. I just can't necessarily see her taking it. If she does take it, then that's great. I will watch anything that she's in. I saw Babylon opening weekend. I love Margot so much. I watch her do anything. It's this thing of she doesn't need this role. This role kind of would need her. So I could see it being a thing where she ends up landing it. I could see it being a thing where this is just kind of a thing of like, here's who we're looking for, and we did offer it to her, but we're really going to pick someone who's kind of a Margot Robbie type. But I want to be so done with this, like all of these casting rumors so badly.
I was writing down the rundown for today's news, and I was just like, I know what I have to do. I just don't know if I'm strength to do it.
I think these rumors are quite boring.
Yes.
Listen, Margot's in 3 of my top favorite films of all time. I love her. I think she's amazing. I think going from Harley Quinn to Sue would be a really boring choice.
Yes.
For her personally. Like, she's already played a comic book character that is wacky and crazy and layered, and like, not to say Sue's not a good character, but like I think that's such a step down as just a performer. And yeah, she'd crush it. She'd be amazing. I'm sure they did offer it to her, and I can't see it happening. And I don't know. I think it's just a dull choice all around, easy choice. I think we should mix it up a little more. And in a crazy universe where she is Sue Storm, then that means she's probably not Harley Quinn, and I don't want to live in that universe. So that's my 2 cents about that.
I kind of agree with what you said there, and it's interesting because when I try to figure out whether this is true or not, I think back to, like, I'm pretty sure it was like 2020 and 2019. I had heard a long time ago that Disney was looking at Margot Robbie for various roles, and then she ended up getting that Pirates movie, which we're still isn't sure is ever going to happen. Isn't she playing like another Disney character?
I don't think so.
Oh, I had heard a long time ago they were looking at her for like Clea, and that was years before Clea showed up, and Sue Storm was in consideration too. And I don't know if that ended up being true or not. But then this comes out, it's like, oh, that is maybe those do fall in line. It's like, of course, yeah. It's like Jamie said, why would they not offer it to her because she'll do a good job? It's kind of up to her. Does she want to take a role like this that's going to commit, like take a 10-year commitment maybe? While also having another commitment with James Gunn and the DC universe? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, I was gone and came back to like this and was just like, what happened while I was away? Like, what in the world? Because I think I saw the driver news on a plane and then I saw this getting back and I'm just like, everything went crazy. Is everything okay back here on ye old counter Earth that I seem to have returned to? I think that I like this would be fine. Like, I think Margot Robbie's tremendous. Like, I think that the casting rumors and the vortex that we find ourselves in is so defined by the things that we do not get versus the things that we do, that would overweigh any of the positive. Because both this and something we'll get to in a second, both seem defined by what possibly could have been the alternative rather than what we actually would get. And it just kind of sucks that that's where this whole thing ends up being, you know, like, we're all much more upset about the possible things, mostly because there's been so many rumors that you have an infinite choices for who could be who. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Remember when Feige told Brandon that it was going to be a mix of newcomers and established roles, and all the people we're getting are like giant,
Mm-hmm.
you know who these people are, and Times Square Billboard people. Good times. Also, no love for Ben Grimm. Don't even know who we don't have any rumors about that.
There are rumors on top of rumors. Like, we don't have them in the rundown, but there are so many rumors about the Thing. There are rumors that they're gender bending the Thing. Like, nobody knows what's going on anymore with this rumor mill.
I said this to Nick Valdez. Man up. Just have Tatiana Maslany be the fourth person. Just screw us all up. Ruin my life, Kevin Feige. Do it. So
the one person who knows what's happening seems to be Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
That's the only person who knows what's happening. There was an interview with Mila Kunis where, what was she on? James Corden?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she said, I think apparently if you go to lunch with somebody, she was spotted at lunch with Matt Shackman, WandaVision director, who will soon be known as a Fantastic Four director to everybody except Jamie. Apparently, if you go to lunch with somebody that's in the industry, you're going to start working together, according to the internet. Shackman and I went out to a deli and had lunch together, and somehow the next day I was in Fantastic Four. I am not in Fantastic Four, but I know who is, and I don't want to get in trouble by the mouse, so none of you are going to find out. So she's the Thing, obviously. All right. I don't think there's really much more to say. I think we all kind of weighed in on that pretty clearly. At this point, even when this news is like official, I feel like we're going to be tired to even react to it.
Also, because there's always the possibility that, like, scheduling conflicts happen and now we have to recast somebody. Like, I feel like that's part of why we don't have the cast already, is they probably attached one person, started doing chemistry reads, and then another person dropped out, and it's like they haven't fully completed all four sides of this yet. So, but even then, once they're even officially announced, I won't believe it until the movie actually comes out.
Can't say I blame you. All right, that's enough. That is enough Fantastic Four talk for one show, in my opinion. We got another kind of. This next topic might be a little bit of a bummer here.
Yeah. So then, also in entertainment news this week, outside of all of the Fantastic Four speculation, is the writers' strike. The Writers Guild Association started striking as of like late Monday night. And so there's the question of how long this is going to last. The one in 2007, 2008 lasted like 100 days. The one in like 1980s before that lasted like 150 days. Will this last as long, or will it end earlier? And either way, will it impact the MCU at all? That's kind of been an interesting question, because there's a lot of stuff that seems to be in production, a lot of stuff that's in pre-production. The thing that I've wondered about is if Deadpool 3 starts filming at any point during this strike, given how likely they are to start improving on set. I'm very curious how that works with all of this, but I don't know. What do you guys think with the writer's strike? Because this is such an interesting wrinkle in everything.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where it has to happen. It needs to happen. So it's happening. And it's like, but I don't know if you guys remember 2007, because I do very well. It sucked. 2007 was such a bummer. But again, like, it needed to happen, and it needs to happen now. I feel like in terms of the MCU, I feel like it affects, I think, TV a little more than movies. But we got that. TV is a big part of it now, so it very well could. But like the fact that they're still filming, for example, House of the Dragon, because the scripts are already written, that's not a good thing, because they need writers on set to do script rewrites as the show's happening. It makes me nervous for that show. We need writers, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope that they get what they want and deserve quickly. Just selfishly, I want this to be done, but they also need to hold out as long as they have to, because they're being treated so unfairly, and it's a trickle thing. Like, I think that the other guilds could be striking too. Hollywood's in a weird spot, so we'll see what happens.
I agree with everything. I think that give them what they want and need, let people live better lives. They're giving you all their work and time. As far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is concerned, I can't imagine there will be too much of an impact. I think that it's such a machine and such a behemoth that I feel like any cog of that there's already a plan in place. If one cog stops working, the rest of the machine will pick up the slack. Will it pick it up the way it needs to be? Like, if the VFX people are overworked, well, you might find that things are lacking in that department in some projects because you don't slow down. Maybe they slow down, but I don't think it's something we'll even feel the effects of for a while. I think that so many things are already in production and done filming that we wouldn't feel it until 2024 and 2025. So I personally don't see this being a huge impact for the MCU, but hopefully a huge impact for the writers, and they get what they need out of this.
As an aging millennial, I remember watching freaking Heroes with my grandmother, God rest her soul, and my mom, and we were absolute diehards. This is before a lot of social media. Like, there's no Reddit posting what's going to happen 3 weeks ago with Hero. Like, there's none of that. So it completely and utterly just crap that show out. Like, I don't know. Like, and that was a bummer. So I'm more bummed for people who like certain TV shows, and that really is bad. Like, this could all go away. Like, they're talking about restructuring the next season at Abbott, and that's great, and I'm sad that might happen. But shout out to Quinta and them holding their heads high and doing what they need to do, and hopefully we can just have it resolved. This is not a problem, because I don't know, man. There's only so much Ultimatum and Love is Blind that anybody can watch, especially in our house. It's too much. Golly, I can only watch a variation of Chopped, or a dating show, or a dating variation of Chopped so much before I lose my mind. So, yeah.
I stopped watching Heroes at that point, and that season 3 of Lost was trash. So that was all 2007. That was tough. But yeah,
season 4?
No, it was season 3, and they started chopping bricks, and they were prisoners and all that. Like, Kate and Sawyer were chopping.
I guess I just remember the end of season 3 being so good, so it all blends together.
Season 3 ended with the Looking Glass, right? With Charlie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To get there was kind of tough, though, because that was like the Dharma prisoners and everything. That stuff was bad.
Okay.
This is Brandon's true calling, y'all. For those of you who don't know, this Lost podcast that needs to happen is Brandon's true calling.
Man, if only we could do a Lost rewatch podcast. I don't care if the only listener.
I'd be in.
All right. We're going to take one more quick break. When we come back, we got, I think, 5 more MCU updates to share with the class. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, drop it in the comment section, and maybe we'll answer your questions, because I think we will have time today. So go ahead, drop those in there on YouTube and Twitch, and we'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back to Phase Zero Season 3, Episode 18. We have exclusive interviews for you on the comicbook.com YouTube channel with the cast and director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Jamie and I both talked to a lot of people from Guardians. Jamie, were yours on camera?
My interviews with Maria Bakalova and Sean Gunn were not, but all the spins from that are already up on the site if you guys are interested in hearing about Cosmo and Kraglin. And talking to Sean Gunn about all the on-set rocket stuff was really interesting. So those are all up. But I also talked to Nathan Fillion, that is on camera, and those will be going up today. And that was fun because I got 9 whole minutes with him, which meant I had time to talk about Buffy, which was very exciting for me. So those were fun interviews.
There you go. Yeah. So look out for that on the Phase Zero YouTube channel. Another thing you can go find right now, it was published on Sunday, is the interview with James Gunn and Chris Pratt, in which James Gunn revealed something really interesting about his plans for Gamora and how they kind of worked into this film. This isn't spoilery. This is kind of looking at the past here. But if you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Avengers Infinity War, then this is a huge spoiler. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, you're perfectly safe. Richard, go ahead and play this clip for us, please. I find it interesting that a major story point in this third film is obviously Gamora coming back, a different Gamora.
Yeah.
And I know when you started the trilogy, I imagine you had a pretty good map. I'm sure it was changing a little bit. It's kind of fluid along the way. But you must have had some idea of where this was going all along. And then Avengers movies come along and they kill one of your major characters, which prompts a storyline in this film. How was that something you knew at the beginning of 2014 and 2013? And when did you kind of realize, okay, well, here's a story I might have to adapt and pivot a bit?
So things always change, and you never know. But Gamora almost died in Volume 2. I knew from the beginning Zoe only wanted to play the character for so many years, and she's been very honest saying that this is, she's done. And so I was going to have her die. I thought she was the one who was going to sacrifice herself, and Quill was going to learn about himself as opposed to Yondu in the second movie. And I thought different of it. I was kind of talked out of it by Kevin and Lou, and it just didn't work that well. It didn't feel right. It felt much more right to go where we go in that movie. That seemed what was correct for the story. I think at the time I was afraid of killing Michael Rooker because he's my friend, and the guy needs a paycheck. He lives in tent in downtown. So
I saw when I was walking in.
Yeah. So I felt bad about killing Rooker, and I didn't want to do that. But that was where the story naturally progressed to. So a lot of the things that I was planning on dealing with, I dealt with through what the Russos did, in which they called me up and said, we're thinking about this. Does this work? Can you work with this? And I went, God, yeah, I really can. And I think it works really well for the third movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Imagine if they killed Gamora in Volume 2. The whole world would be different. I find it interesting, A, that was the plan that was ever considered, and B, that Feige and Esposito were like, well, maybe don't. Because I always wonder how the collaboration works. So I wonder, when they came to him, where they're like, well, Anthony and Joe, they really want to kill her in Infinity War and use her for something involving the Infinity Stones. I wonder about that. But I thought the Yondu story in Guardians Volume 2 was fantastic, and that's what ultimately makes me really appreciate that movie. What do you guys think of that? With that change and how it happened?
I think this all worked out for the better. Like, as much as Gamora's death in Infinity War really hurts, I think it lends itself to the story in a really interesting way. And then they find the perfect kind of comic booky way to still bring her back. Whereas I feel like if she had died in Volume 2, especially because that was at the era of like fridging being such a huge topic of conversation, if she had died in Volume 2, that would have felt so much more definitive, and it would have been like, well, this is the end of the character, and that was kind of underwhelming. So I'm glad that this all worked out this way.
Yeah, I'm real curious to see the future. The characters that do have futures in the MCU, what they look like. Are they recast? Do they continue at all? Do they ever show up again? Obviously, everybody in the movie dies. So I'm just kidding. What am I, Mark Ruffalo? Relax.
Oh my God. I can't even understand. Like, what would the movie even be? Like, everything afterwards would be so different. Like, completely different if they had chose to go that route. So I think Jenna's right. We're on the prime timeline in some respects, at least with this one, where things actually made sense,
Volume 2 is all about just like the father stuff, like birth father versus your dad kind of a thing, and that's like the whole heart of that movie. So it's like, then it's like, oh, but my girlfriend dies. That would be weird. That's not what that movie's about. So
All right, let's talk about some movies that were previously made by other studios and now will be made by Marvel Studios.
And then speaking of death and resurrection, so Rob Delaney is returning as Peter from the X-Force in Deadpool 3. So in Deadpool 2, he showed up. He was just like the ordinary guy who auditioned for the X-Force, and he got into the team, and then he died. And then Deadpool used Cable's time travel thing to bring him back. So he's back for this third one. We have another returning cast member. So what do we think?
X-Force forever.
Great. He's a delight.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
TVA gonna be busy, man.
Yeah.
They gonna be busy. He's not supposed to be here. Watch Peter be a Nexus being. Watch that.
Part of me is just so worried that this is all just going to be for one sequence, and then people are going to be disappointed of like, oh my god, you brought every single person back for like a Deadpool kills the Fox universe scene and then just moved on. But I don't know. I'll take any of Delaney in it.
That's what I hope happens.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
I want it too. I want it too. It's just I know the internet would not be happy, but I think that would be a really fun way of doing it.
I've learned that the internet's never going to be happy. But, I think bringing them back just to do some Deadpool stuff and be like, remember these guys? Yeah, that the universe exists, but it ain't ours anymore, or whatever they do. They kill them off again. I thought that scene was hilarious because you had so many people who you were like, oh wow, we're promoting Shatterstar, we're promoting this, we're promoting that. We have this actor, we have that actor. Psych. Like, whatever, dude. That worked for me. More than the Illuminati scene worked in Doctor Strange. So if you find a way to do it in a comedic way in Deadpool 3, I'm here for it. Welcome back, Rob Delaney. See you for a moment.
All right. Well, more news. Blade added True Detective creator Nick Pizzolatto as its writer. Of course, Mahershala Ali was on True Detective, interestingly with Stephen Dorff. From Blade and notorious MCU hater, which I think is an interesting little tidbit. On one hand, I feel like what is happening with this movie, we're just now bringing another writer. I'm a little nervous. On the other, I feel like this might be helpful. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I saw a tweet from Joanna Robinson at The Ringer, and she was like, imagining Nick Pizzolatto like writing the script before the shutdown of the writer's strike, and just like how many cups of coffee and cigarettes are involved in this experience. It's like, oh my god. But like I think this is a really interesting choice. Like we were talking about it in Slack, like when this was announced, of like between this and Mia Goth, it's like this movie is really building up to be something that seems a lot more prestige than people might necessarily expect, which I think is a really cool way of going about it. So I'm hopeful.
Blade going to the Oscars.
Wouldn't that be weird? That'd be insane. I was laughing as Jenna was describing this. I'm like, watch Natasha Lyonne be in this movie. Like,
don't threaten me with a good time. Please. Yes.
So many.
She's in the third Blade, though.
Yeah.
Wait,
she's
really?
in Blade 3.
No,
yeah.
Man, my memory sucks.
Yeah. Just bring her back. Nobody would care. Bring her back.
Well, listen, don't listen to Brandon. She'll die. It does sound
I have no
fun,
feelings anymore. Whatever.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 broke Brandon.
Yep.
I blame you, James Gunn. It does sound interesting. It is different. Like, is it there was already another writer like attached that besides the one that they replaced. So are they working together? Like, is that what's going on? I can't imagine we just keep subbing in writers. Like we just keep pulling writers off the bench, because that would worry me, like Jamie said. Bless you, girl. And yeah, whenever it'll come out, and I don't imagine that this situation helps. So please give them people what they want so we can finish it. Everybody just wants Blade. Yeah, that's what I got on that.
Brandon is just nodding.
I just sitting there like, yes, please. Okay. In other news, AMC Theaters website listed the runtime of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is a nice runtime. I can't remember if that's longer than the first one. I don't think so, because you don't think about Spider-Verse as like a long movie, but like it was very leisurely. I enjoyed it.
1 hour 56 minutes.
Wow.
Oh boy. Wow, we just blowing past. All right, get ready for part 3 to be 3 hours long. There's going to be an intermission. And also reportedly, Andy Samberg is apparently in the cast. Lonely Island did an Instagram post, and I'm sure that they're thrilled about that over at Marvel, about just the same Instagram account with all those SNL digital shorts that I can't say the name of. The one that I really wanted to say the name of, I realized we were on television. I can't say.
Letter in a box.
Yeah, that one. What do you guys think of this news?
I like this runtime's perfect. Like really realizing now how much longer it is than the first one. It's like perfect. I will watch as much of this footage as humanly possible. If they had like a 6-hour assembly cut, I would still watch it because I just want to see whatever they have cooking. And I love The Lonely Island. I love Andy Samberg. Popstar is still one of my like top 5 favorite movies from the past decade. So like the other members, like Jorma from The Lonely Island is also already in the movie. Like he's playing medieval Vulture, which is a really cool thing of like we're getting a medieval version of Vulture. But we have no idea who Andy's playing, but I just love that he's in this movie to begin with.
There are whispers of who it is. I don't know if those have been confirmed though. And we'll leave you to tantalize on that. I'm not gonna say, but yeah.
Everybody, if they want to find it, I don't know what you're talking about. I use Twitter less than ever now. I still use it, but I'm on it less than ever. But I'm sure if I wanted to go on Twitter right now and find out who Andy Samberg is supposedly playing, it would take me approximately 7 seconds. So we'll just leave it at that for anybody who wants to be spared.
Imagine Brandon Davis with the Spy Kids glasses magnifying it 6 times, figured it out.
Is he playing the Spy Kids character? Was that an Easter egg?
It's him. It's actually a crossover. It's him and MODOK.
Oh my God.
This don't stop.
Oh boy.
You gotta stop never stopping. All right. I want
to say about I'm into this runtime personally. I have no limit to how much I can sit and watch a movie, but I will say 220 for a kids movie is a bit much. I'm curious to see how like the kids will handle this because like ultimately these are kids movies. They're animated movies. Not to get into that debate. Like, I obviously we all love this stuff too, but I'm curious like how families are going to react to that. I don't know. I could be 4 hours and I'd be into it, but I wonder like I like these live action Disney movies keeping so long. Like Cruella was 220, and to me that felt long for a movie that is geared kind of towards kids, but we'll see. But in terms of Andy Samberg, bring him on, love it, into it, 100%.
I feel like we get movies like Thor and Doctor Strange that could have hugely benefited from 20 more minutes, and then you have you have the end games and the Spider-Mans, which are well over 2.5, right? What was Spider-Man? Wasn't like 240? I think. I don't really remember exactly. So yeah, I mean, to me, the runtime itself isn't like a huge factor. It comes down to pacing for me, and I'm sure that's similar for everybody. Layla, we're talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, by the way. All right. Anybody else want to touch on this before we move on to one last subject and then a couple questions? All right. I had in here a CinemaCon recap. In terms of Marvel, there really wasn't that much to recap last week. This time when you guys were hosting the show, I was sitting in the Disney presentation, which was cool. Honestly, the coolest thing I saw in the Disney presentation was one of the Searchlight films, The Creator, with John David Washington, and it looks awesome. It's like this story about humans after like an AI versus humanity war years and years later. Looks amazing. I don't think the trailer's online, but the only Marvel stuff they showed was a clip from Guardians of the Galaxy, which they released online simultaneously, and the Marvel's trailer, but just on the big screen. So they really didn't talk about the future for Marvel. They're obviously not going to talk about Disney Plus at CinemaCon. That is a theater owner event, talking about how they're going to line the theater owner pockets. That's the whole point of CinemaCon, is to puff up the box office and make everybody feel good about the coming year at the movie theaters. And yeah, there really just wasn't much. So I think that was kind of expected, and Comic-Con is still around the corner. So we'll see. I think Comic-Con is where we're going to get some big Marvel news.
I am curious because like we talked about it just based off of the secondhand information, but like what did you think of the Kraven trailer since you were physically there for it?
Man, I mean, it was a trailer.
Wow.
I like Aaron Taylor Johnson a lot,
And honestly, Bullet Train is one of my favorite movies of last year. Kraven, I had such a hard time because I thought the Morbius trailer was good. And I think the Venom movies have good trailers. So I think Kraven has pieces there to be a good film. But will they actually utilize that and focus on making a good film and not some bullshit of trying to make a universe before you have one, which they have in their live action films already over there at the Sony Marvel world? Aaron Taylor Johnson looks cool. Looks like cool. He doesn't wear the costume in the trailer. I'm pretty sure he's going to wear the costume in the movie, but he holds it up. He says the F word. It's edgy. It's bloody. Like it sets itself apart like in that way. And it sets itself apart in what I think is probably the easiest way to set yourself apart, by being R-rated, but that's fine. We've wanted R-rated Marvel movies. I want R-rated Marvel movies. I love about Guardians Volume 3. It's PG-13, but it has some actual weight and maturity to it. Like there's some jokes in there and there's some imagery in there. It's going to be hard for kids. So an R-rated Kraven movie is cool. It's not, if I was picking an R-rated character, it wouldn't have been Kraven, but it's cool. He seems like he's hunting humans. The dude is running around on all fours, almost like it's a horror movie, like he's doing parkour off the walls. He, at one point, like in the beginning of the trailer, bites a dude's nose off and spits it into the camera. Cool, man. Like, sick, bro. I hope the movie's good. I'm going to watch it regardless. So I hope it's good, and I'm going to give it a fair shot. I went into Morbius. Actually, y'all saw I had Morbius higher than everybody, I think. Like, not super high, but I had high hopes for Morbius. I have high hopes for all these movies because I'm going to watch them and I want to like them. And I'll ultimately find some things I like in it, I'm sure. As much as Matt Smith dancing as a vampire, maybe not, but hopefully, Crave. The trailer was wild, man. And it also showed Rhino at the end of it. They didn't show who it was, but they showed somebody's hand, and I'm pretty sure he said, like, "I am the Rhino." He was pretty on the horn, on the nose, but they literally showed a hand turning into a giant rhino hand. So it's violent. It was like the trailer showed you this one's gonna be violent. It's gonna be for adults, and this man is hunting humans in the woods. So no real teases of Spider-Man in the trailer though. So maybe they're actually getting off that one and realizing putting a picture of Spider-Man in a trailer that's never actually in the movie isn't a cool move. It's one thing to have the Hulk run through Wakanda. It's another to advertise a character that's altogether not in the film. Anyway, yeah. So that's Kraven, and I am craving some more for sure. All right, we're going to answer a couple of questions from our 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you have questions, drop in the comment section. First question. This one comes from Tubular Tommy 643. Hey, Tommy. Question: at what point should marketing and trailers take a backseat to storytelling and surprising viewers? I feel like that Daredevil helmet reveal in She-Hulk would have set the fandom on fire if we didn't see him in the trailers. That's a kind of a debate I'm always having. Like, just let us be surprised. I'm team be surprised because I'm going to be watching it anyway. That said, I recognize the need for that stuff to boost your views, to boost your ratings and your ticket sales. There was a time where surprises were so expected and Marvel was so successful that I think you didn't need to, but now I feel like they need to. What do you guys think of this?
I think like that She-Hulk example in particular, like given the fact that it was in the Comic-Con trailer, that's the kind of thing you put out at a Comic-Con trailer to get like the entire crowd losing their minds. Like I get it. It really is a case-by-case basis sort of thing for me, but I love the surprises if they're able to genuinely be surprises. I also just always have to look at it as like the perspective of a general audience member who might not be watching every single trailer and TV spot and who goes into something like No Way Home and has no idea that all of the returning people are showing up or something like that. So I like those surprises, but I also recognize the surprises look way different for us than they do for like a lot of the people who are just watching these movies casually.
Well, go ahead, Jamie.
I was just gonna say, I think it depends. Like you said, I think the Daredevil one really did work. But I will never forgive them a week before Doctor Strange telling us that that the women that were in that movie, that was so unnecessary. Like that stuff really makes me mad when it's like a literal cameo like that. Like Daredevil's in a kind of a good chunk of She-Hulk, whatever. I just watched Endgame the other day and I was like, man, remember when we didn't know any of those people are popping up? Like Natalie Portman is just like asleep and it was like, yeah, she's sleeping. I didn't know. Like that was so exciting. They need to find that balance again because I've not forgiven them for that.
Yeah, she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. Remember when Captain America showed up in Thor: The Dark World, and we were all like, "Oh my god!"
What?
That was crazy.
That's enough. Yeah, that's just all right. So honestly, in the She-Hulk example, like if they didn't advertise a character who wasn't showing up until the final third of the show, it would have been a different experience. You wouldn't have had the "Where's Daredevil" conversation the whole time, and then it would have been an exciting conversation when the helmet showed up, and then you could have started teasing it. But they wanted people to watch from the beginning, and they knew Daredevil. Like I think of that, like Doctor Strange was not having pre-sale numbers like the rest of the Marvel movies before it that were sequels, especially sequels that were supposed to be events like Doctor Strange was obviously intended to be. So I imagine it's just like, well, we need a few million more dollars in ticket sales. We have some characters in this film that might get us closer. Throw them out there. So I get it, but I don't know. I'm team surprise as much as I can because I feel like we are going to watch it. And I think if people are part of the Phase Zero community, like they're going to watch it too. So there's a balance. I don't know what it is. I'm not a marketing expert, but I do lean towards surprise me. All right. This comes from Joshua1636. You are my only go-to Marvel podcast. I try to catch the live show every week. Oh, thank you, Joshua, man. Appreciate it. My question is, once Hugh does Wolverine and Deadpool 3, I presume, who do you want to replace him? Also, I look forward to the Seth Rogen laugh. Thank you, Joshua. Sorry for the laughs, but thanks for looking forward to it. Anyway, Wolverine and Deadpool. Who's playing Wolverine after? I've Team Taron Egerton still, so that's my answer. But you guys want to go ahead with that one?
Does anybody have any burning desires?
No, there's no one for me that I'm like, yeah. I guess another person who's known for musicals that we're like, oh, this man is known for singing and dancing, but look at that body and those action skills. I don't know. So
you're saying you want Lin-Manuel Miranda as Wolverine?
Oh, calm down.
Wow, calm down.
You can act. Thank you. He can write music. But
yeah. For me, it really depends on like what the ages are of the contemporaries that'll be around him. Like I was so weirded out when we got to kind of the quasi reboot of the Fox movies and we have Hugh Jackman next to like Sophie Turner. And it's like, hey, there's kind of a romance between these two in the comics, but the age difference is kind of nuts. I think like, I know he's kind of immortal, but I would want him to be played in kind of a contemporary sort of way. So I'm open. I just want it to be a short actor. I want him to kind of have the stockiness that Wolverine does in the comics. So that person probably exists and we just don't know who they are yet, but I'm down.
I want probably for the memes, but Radcliffe would be so funny.
Yeah.
Like I love that weird movie from last year. That movie rocks. It's so strange. He's such a strange performer that it's sad that everybody thinks about him when he was like whatever yay high. Which I mean, you know,
wouldn't it be so interesting if Daniel Radcliffe became Wolverine right as someone else was becoming Harry Potter?
Fun times on the media tours for both things, for both people, for very different reasons.
That'd be crazy.
Yep.
All right, we got one last question here. This one comes from Spoil Me More. Number one podcast on the air listener since day one. I love the dynamic of the group. Beatty, Aaron, Jamie, and Jenna. Even Jailhouse Jim. The news and conversations of Marvel projects are top notch. What has better odds of happening? Thunderbolts has Skrulls on the team, or the reason Daredevil Born Again is 18 episodes is because it finally is a show that occurs during the blip with time jumps to the current MCU day. I think both are super probable. Like I think both of those are a big possibility. So which one's more likely? I think Daredevil showing the blip is like a lock. So I'll take that. But I think both will happen. Anybody else?
We're all just waiting to answer. I agree. I think the blip is something I really want to see on Daredevil, and I feel like that's definitely likely. I still think the 18 episodes thing is just, it's probably like blocked off into chunks that we just don't necessarily know about yet, whether it's like 3 chunks of 6 or 2 chunks of 9. Like the 18 episodes won't be 18 weeks in a row. I think that would just be insane. So, but I've never thought about the Skrulls thing for the Thunderbolts. That would be interesting too. But like, I really want the Daredevil thing.
Thaddeus Ross is a Skrull.
Wow.
Maybe.
Don't confuse people even more.
No,
He's a new actor and his scroll.
He's the president of the United States. I mean, that's the ultimate scroll. We'll see. Anybody else got anything on this before I have a funny story I want to tell.
Go. I want to hear it.
Go ahead.
Did I ever tell the story of how I met George Kittle, who was on the show 2 weeks ago?
You told us, but I don't think you told the audience. So.
Okay. Walked into a bar. Richard points out George Kittle. And I'm like, whoa, really? Okay. I'm pretty sure that guy's a Marvel fan. So I go to the table. Me and Richard get a drink. And I start Googling George Kittle Marvel. And George, if you're listening to the show, this is exactly how it happened. So I sit in there. I Google search George Kittle Marvel. And I'm like, oh, that really is him. Oh, this guy was in a Venom commercial. That's right. He is a huge Marvel fan. So I was like, you know what? I want to go meet this guy. So like, all right, I go meet him, fully intending to invite him on the show. And I go up to him. He's playing cornhole. We talk for a minute. And so then I say, when he's done playing cornhole, I say hi. So I want to introduce myself. My name's Brandon. I host a Marvel show here at Comic Book. And he goes, oh, I know you from Instagram. So I was like, shut up. So he's like, yeah, at the Comic Book. And I don't know if he knew my name or not, but he knew Comic Book. He knew Phase Zero. And I was like, oh, cool. And he goes, is that really you? And I said, yeah, look at this. So I unlocked my phone. And when I to go show him the Instagram account that I have, the Comic Book Instagram account on my phone, which I never really post to. I just have access to it. So I open it. And what's on my phone except the Google search of him? And he sees it. And he's like, bro, did you Google me? And I was like, I had to make sure I had the right guy. And we laughed and became friends. But that was probably one of the more mortifying moments of my entire life with somebody I consider a celebrity. And I thought that's just a story worth telling here because he already came on the show. And he was an awesome guest. And he's clearly a huge Marvel fan. He knows his stuff. But yeah, so that's how that happened. And
it could have been worse. It could have been like George Kittle shirtless.
It could have been my screensaver, it certainly could have been worse. That's probably one of my more regrettable celebrity interactions, rivaling Sebastian Stan in the Philadelphia bathroom. I won't watch our hand, but I think I already told that one years ago. So that's today's show. Aaron, any parting words for Phase Zero Season 3, Episode 18?
It is at some like Hornet on social media. I am working on this over next week. We are giving away Marvel's Illustrated Guide to the Spider-Verse here on the show. If you would like it, we're going to do a little giveaway on the Twitter account. It's wonderful, glossy, informative thing on Spider-Verse to catch you up before we get there. Tons of different variant spiders in here. Some pages that scare me to look at, but they're all in here. Spiders-Man, Miguel O'Hara, if Layla wants to add it to her Oscar shrine wall. So be on lookout. If you love Spider-Man, you love Spider-Verse, we'll be giving that away next week.
Nice. Man of the people. Jamie, what you got?
Oh boy, keep an eye out for my Nathan Fillion interview. It's a fun one. Follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Jamie Cinematics. Last week, I teased that the biggest interview of my career is happening. Well, I can say it now because it's happening today, this afternoon. I'm interviewing the Electric Mayhem. If you don't know who they are, you don't know music. I'll just say that. It is the band from the Muppets. I'm going to meet my favorite Muppet, who is Zoot. I've never been more excited about anything in my life.
It's very rare that Jamie hits me up and is like, hey, if this movie comes along, please let me get in on that junket. Please help me get this one. And I heard from Jamie on Muppets pretty sure more than once, and I'm so glad. I actually didn't end up playing any role in that, but I'm glad it happened. Hell yeah. I know Jamie is hyped for this one. Congratulations. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Jenna?
It would have been so funny, Jamie, if you hadn't said the word Muppet at all in that plug, and then somebody just Googles the Electric Mayhem and is like, oh, okay. Like, that would have just been hilarious. It's at Hey It's Jenna Lynn on social media. Go read some comics. There's a new issue of Scarlet Witch out this week, which is excellent. Russell Dodderman, who does the cover art, is doing the interiors, and it is absolutely breathtaking. Highly recommend. And go check comicbook.com. We have a feature this week kind of in the lead up to Guardians. Myself and a bunch of other people on the night crew at Comic Book have done a kind of cram for Guardians for like all of these pieces and think pieces of what you need to know. I wrote a very long 900-word tribute to Lila and all of her comic appearances, and and I wrote an article about kind of connecting Gunn's work on the Guardians movies to what he's going to do at DC. And we have a bunch of other tributes to the soundtrack and to the next Guardians team and a lot of other stuff. So check it all out. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for another great show. On Friday, I believe we're going to record it at 3 p.m. Eastern time. To be decided if we're going to do it live, because sometimes we don't like to do the spoiler-filled episodes live so that we're not just broadcasting spoilers onto Facebook and Twitch and all that stuff, and somebody who accidentally clicks in gets a movie they haven't seen yet ruined for them. Let us know what you guys prefer. If we do it live or not, we can still figure it out. We have obviously 2 days to decide, but we're going to do a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 spoiler-filled review and breakdown and discussion this Friday. It'll be available on all major podcast platforms. It'll be on the Phase Zero YouTube channel, and it'll be a fun one. We'll have special guest Cam Hayward, who's basically just a semi-regular co-host at this point. Cam's just one of us. He's a great guy, and I was talking to him about it, and he's seeing Guardians tomorrow night. Jenna's seeing Guardians Friday morning, and as soon as Comic Book Nation is done, we're all going to come back in here and get onto the StreamYard. I might get into the studio. I don't know. I might do it from home if I'm feeling lazy that day. And we will have a Guardians Volume 3 full podcast for you all. So thank you all so much for another great episode of Phase Zero. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you listen to us on Wednesday, thanks for being a day oneer. If you're listening to us over the weekend, I hope it's going well. And we'll see you in just a couple days. Later, everybody. Thanks, Enterprise.